Hey guys, Carlos Hidalgo here from KnowingInsight.com, and tonight's Late Night Power Up is about how to find your purpose in life. I've tried recording this video a few times now, and they've all gone past like 20 minutes. So I'm going to try again to really make this like streamlined and quick, but it's tricky. It's a tricky one. So my goal is going to be 15 minutes. So if you don't have 15 minutes to spare right now, save it for later. But I appreciate your time. And I do think that you can get something out of this. So with that said, let me get going here. I personally think that I've figured out what I want to do with my life. It's taken me a while to figure this out, but I've incorporated certain principles and certain things into my life that have helped me to really get to this point. And I want to share those with you. So first thing I want to talk about is raising your level of consciousness and your self-awareness. Now today, it's very easy to get distracted and to get bombarded and consumed in just stuff. There's sports, news, TV, reality TV, our phones, gossip, video games, something I'm, guilty of because I love getting down on some Halo and Call of Duty every now and then. But it's very easy to get trapped and caught in these vortexes that take us nowhere in life. All they do is sedate us and ultimately entertain us temporarily. Okay, so there is not much we get from them other than entertainment and temporary satisfaction. So I don't have TV, I don't have cable, I don't watch TV, I don't watch news, I don't watch anything that keeps me away from taking my life to the next level. And I think most things are designed that way because there's a certain system that's kind of in this world. If you really sit down and look at the way everything works, you'll see that, we're kind of kept we're dumbed down. We're kept in a certain, level because it makes us a little easier to control. If we were all healthy, we wouldn't be, in hospitals sick. That's how, there's no money in the cure. Okay, there's money in disease, and there's money in consumerism. So constantly being told that we need to buy stuff, we need this, we need that, when really we don't need that much. Happiness and inner peace is found from within. So, it's very easy to get caught up in all that stuff. You want to spend more time looking inward and thinking about how you got to be who you are, what you are. Why do you do the things you do? I think most people want to escape from themselves. They spend too much time drinking and going out, eating crappy food, smoking up, all this stuff. They do all these things and they're trying to escape themselves. And it's like, we live in America, and it's got its faults and everything, but it's not that bad of a place to live. So I don't really know why everyone's trying to escape reality. Some people's lives are worse than others, and I understand that, but why do you do those things? Figure out why you do those things. Do you drink because you lack confidence for the social lubrication? Do you want to suppress thoughts? Are you trying to escape something? Are you bored? Why do you do the things you do? And that's important, because when you figure out why you're doing these things, you'll start to find the things that you think you lack, and then you'll figure out ways to improve those areas of your life. Now, most people think they're lacking things, and you know what? You're really not lacking much, because there's an abundance of so much goodness in this world if you focus on those things as opposed to things you don't have. But unfortunately, we're programmed to think of the stuff that we don't have. So anyway, you really want to focus on just spending time with yourself, learning who you are. Look back into your previous life, the history of your life, and look and see some of the common themes. What are some things that have been successful for you? Some common denominators that have made you happy, that have brought out the best in you. What are some things you do now that you get lost in, that you spend hours and hours in doing? You're just like, man, that was 12 hours. Holy crap, it felt like 2 minutes. What are some of those things? Those are the things that you want to spend your time with, spend your time doing. Okay, figure out ways to make a living out of them. Be creative. There's businesses, there's some really weird businesses out there. There's people making money off really weird things. So I'm sure you can figure out what it is that you enjoy doing and make money off of it. At the very least, figure out what you enjoy doing and extracting some of those things that make you happy and transfer them over to something else, at the very least. So really taking the time to understand yourself is probably one of the tougher things to do, because we're always trying to escape ourselves. We're trying to get out of our head. We're trying to sedate ourselves and, just to suppress emotions and thoughts and just beat around the bush, as opposed to just sitting with it and really being with ourselves. So that's the first thing. Your consciousness, self-awareness, and just becoming more yourself, just becoming more comfortable with yourself, figuring out who you are. You don't have to, backpack in Europe for a year to do that. You can do that at home. You can do that, spend some time alone in nature, spend some time just, you know, self-reflecting in a positive and productive way. Next thing I want to talk about is diet. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what does my diet have to do with anything? I can eat the way I want and still be successful and happy in life. Of course. But I'm talking for people who have no idea what they want to do with their lives, who have really just, are at the point where they're just eating poorly. They're at the same level that they've been at for a while, and they're just like, how do I get out of this rut? How do I take my life to the next level? Why am I still doing the same things and getting nothing out of them? Okay? Those are the people I'm kind of talking about, or talking to, rather. So, we are what we eat, okay? Now, in the last year, I've really cleaned up my diet to a point where it's like, I'm still learning a lot about how to do so, but it's pretty clean now. I don't eat meat or dairy, and I'm not going to get into all that stuff and that whole debate, but I will say that by incorporating more whole living foods, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, incorporating more of those things into your diet, and shedding the packaged, processed, refined foods that your body doesn't even recognize and doesn't really use, by shedding those and incorporating better stuff, slowly you'll make better decisions. You're gonna feel better, and you're just gonna be like, you know what, man, I've been missing out on this fruit and vegetables. I don't even need this stuff anymore. A lot of times that will happen. I'm not gonna preach to you, but the fact of the matter is, when you eat cleaner, you're gonna feel better. You will feel better. You're gonna feel better, and then you feel like crap because of the detox symptoms. But then if you stick with it, you'll get back and you'll stabilize and you'll feel good. So, I mean, this is where I spend most of the time on previous videos, so I'm already at 7 minutes. Basically, our thoughts are chemicals. I've talked about this before. Our stress releases cortisol into the bloodstream, and that stress gets deposited in tissues and cells in our body. And, like, think about it. When you have a secret to tell, you want to apologize to someone, you have something to tell someone, you have all this bottled up, energy, and it's like the stress, and then all of a sudden you tell that person something, and you're like, oh man, I'm glad I got that off my chest. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Those thoughts, that negativity, those negative emotions, the stress, that all gets deposited. Not to mention the food that we eat. We have alkaline bodies, so we don't want to eat acidic and toxic food, okay? We eat animal products with hormones that are injected into them to make them, produce more milk and produce more meat, produce more whatever. We're eating genetically modified food that ultimately the animals are eating feed that has genetically modified food. They eat that food and then we eat them, so we're ultimately eating that food. There's a lot of genetically modified food that is getting into the even healthier food, and it's, they don't tell you what you're eating. So you're eating a lot of stuff that you don't even know what you're eating. Okay, if you're not eating organic, and you're not eating, even organic food isn't, the soil's nutrient depleted. I mean, unless you're growing your own food in like fresh, organic, good soil, then you don't even know how you're eating, really. It's really hard to tell. So it's really important to figure out what you're eating and where you're getting it from, because there's just so many benefits when you start eating cleaner. Your body has so much crap, literally poo, stored, and that has not been, fully moved out of the system. You have stuff in your lymphatic system, metabolic and digested waste that, that your body hasn't had time to really clear out. I mean, your body basically is an efficient machine. So if you're eating food that's hard to digest, like the meat, like the cheese, foods that are creating mucus and creating, just crud in the body. When you're eating foods like that, your body spends all that time and energy digesting those foods when it can be spending its energy and resources on repairing other cells and functions in the body, leveling out hormones and, you know, thyroid gland, you know, all those, your endocrine system. When it can be stabilizing your body, it's spending time digesting all these foods. And because we're constantly being bombarded with the advertisements, we're constantly eating and eating, and we're eating high caloric foods with low amounts of nutrients. Okay, they're not nutrient dense. So we feel full, but our body's getting very little nutrients out of that food that we're eating. So there is really just so much that you can benefit from when you eat cleaner. You will start to have clearer thoughts. Your body's going to clear out all the toxins that ultimately get, you know, sent to the brain. I mean, your bloodstream, when you clear that out and you're just fresh oxygen, you got good glucose, simple sugars, you know, from the fruits, and you know, when you get that going to the brain, your brain starts, it's sharper, you're smoother, you know, as well as everything else in the body. And most people won't understand this, but even your spirituality can really blossom. You know, if you're not spiritual at all, you know, eating that way can change people. If you're already a spiritual person, then man, it can just really clean you up, and you know, you would just develop even better connection when you clean up the diet. I mean, that's why do you think so many people like, you know, Buddha and Gandhi and Jesus, they all fasted. I mean, when you fast and you just clean up your eating, you really can connect with the divine. You know, that's my own belief, and you know, not everyone's gonna bite up on that, but that's ultimately what it can do for you. And so, diet, less crap, okay, more fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole foods, really, not packaged, you know, stuff that your body doesn't even know what it is. So start doing that, you will see differences. I mean, ask anybody that's healthy. Hey man, how do you feel now? Oh, I feel great, man. You know, I eat good and I exercise. You know, I feel good. I feel like I have more potential and I can do things that I can do before. It's gonna happen. So that will ultimately help you to develop a better sense of self, and it really does help with developing the whole consciousness. Because now that I'm eating cleaner, my thoughts are clear, my overall consciousness is clear. I am like, I can see, you know, the inner workings of my body, as well as like my emotions. I can, like, you know, when I get frustrated, it's like, why am I really getting frustrated? And when I have negative emotions, it's like, why am I really mad? You know, am I jealous? You know, you can start to really decipher, you know, yourself. So eating cleaner, very important. Next thing I want to talk about is, I think I had like 5 things I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to have to do 3 because otherwise this video is going to go too long. I wanted to talk about the balance between working your butt off and allowing things to happen, okay? So everybody looking for the life purpose, and they are just, I got to figure it out. I got to find out. I am not worthy as a human being unless I, you know exactly what I want to do. I'm not going to get any job until I figure out exactly what I want to do and I have the right job and it's perfect and everything's perfect. It's not going to work that way. You know, most of the time you're going to have to pay the bills, you know, get what you have to get done, and then work on the side on the stuff that you enjoy to do. So there's that balance between working your butt off. You know, this is after you figured out what you want to do. And, you know, it actually takes work to even figure out what you want to do. You want to set goals. You want to put yourself in environments where you could actually learn or maybe discover what your purpose is. If you're at home and you're never doing anything, you're just watching TV, you're just, you know, feeding yourself, you're never really out exploring the world, then how are you really going to figure out what it is that you were meant to do? You know, you have to get out there. You have to be receptive. You have to be in the world, playing, discovering, meeting new people, trying new things, going to events, talking with people, reading books. You know, you have to be doing. Okay, you have to be doing things. But at the same time, you can't beat yourself up and make everything so result oriented. Okay, you have to be involved in the process. But at the same time, you can't beat yourself up and be like, you know what, it's been 2 years and I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do. Man, my life, these past 2 years have sucked. Wow. You don't want to do that. Always be positive. always be productive. So there's this balance between becoming more self-aware, developing yourself, maximizing your potential, really focusing on some of the things you enjoy to do, being creative. How can I make money off of them? How can I make a living off of them? And at the same time, allowing things to happen and keeping an eye out for them so that you can seize the opportunity when the moment's right. Okay. Me personally, I was so consumed with I got to figure out what I want to do because you know what, I just had, I have to have lived a life where I just had meaning and it's this grand life. And it got to the point where it was just being more, it was hindering me from success more than it was helping me. I was putting so much pressure on myself and being so critical that like it ended up detracting from my overall goal. So it came to a point where I was like, all right, you know what, I'm just going to let God do his thing. All right, work your magic. I'm going to keep an eye out. I'm going to, I'm going to rest in God and just let it happen. Okay. So maybe, you're like, okay, I'm just going to let the universe handle things. I'm just going to wait for a circumstance, whatever. Okay. But ultimately, you want to let things happen. Okay. You have to let them happen because some things you're going to think, okay, this is my right path. This is what I need to be doing. And then that doesn't work out. Now, if you're constantly like, oh man, that didn't work out. This is a bummer, whatever. You're going to be miserable. Look at something that didn't work out and think, okay, well, maybe this didn't work out for a reason. And this is actually a blessing in disguise. That's what I try to do. And ultimately, when you have that mindset, you will eventually get to the right destination. Okay? Because if you look at everything, every failure, every missed opportunity, every something that falls through, everything, if you look at all that as a way to take you to the next level, well, then you're going to be better off. So, you have to just find that balance. Do the things that you need to do on your end, and then allow God, circumstance, the universe, let all that stuff happen on that end, and eventually you're going to meet in the middle, and you will, if you're open, you're receptive and you have your eyes open and you're on the ball. Because once you go back to the same crap you're doing before, the TV and watching all, you're just consuming yourself with that stuff, you're going to miss out. Okay? And you're just going to become a robot again. You're going to go to your 9 to 5 and you're going to just you're just going to get caught up on just surviving as opposed to thriving. So those are really the three things: self-awareness, consciousness, diet, okay, diet and exercise, becoming healthy, okay, because you need energy if you're gonna, even if you do figure out what you want to do in life, you're gonna need energy to actually get that stuff done, because you're gonna need to make money to pay the bills. You're gonna have a job, support your kids, support your wife, support your family, support yourself, whatever. And you're gonna need energy to actually start working on your own stuff, and then maybe take your life to the next level. And drinking cups of coffee and caffeine and stimulants and stuff, yeah, that'll work temporarily, but you want sustainable long-term energy. You want to be healthy, so that you can have enough energy for everything, your family and work and all that stuff. So the diet, exercise, and then you also want to be cool about it. Remember, nobody falls in love forcing it. No one says, well, I went out every single night and I pretty much had to find my soulmate, and then it finally happened. No, usually people are like, I got caught off guard and I met him or I met her and it just happened, and oh my God, I love it. It's when you're not expecting it when things really happen. So be ready, be receptive, work your butt off, but at the same time, just let things happen, and and they will. I do think that they will. So I hope that helps. Thanks for your time. I know it's kind of a longer video, and give me some feedback. Let me know if maybe any breakthroughs happen in the near future. And as always, if you like this video and you want to see more, feel free to subscribe, like, share, comment, thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys soon. So take care, God bless, and later.